What's up, everybody? It's Coach Kuartez here with Recruit University. I am the Director of Recruiting for Recruit University. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and how this all came together. So I coached football on the Eastern Shore of Maryland for about 10 years or so. And just as a resident of, that location, we're in a small town and what have you. A lot of people really didn't get noticed out there. I grew up watching amazing athletes, looking up to some amazing individuals, and I watched them not go anywhere really. Some of these guys, they ended up just getting regular jobs and not even going to college. Some people I watched growing up, they didn't even, they ended up going to jail and things like that, and just living a life, that they shouldn't have been living if they had somebody helping them and directing them forward. Anyway, there's kids now that I see that, that people are behind them, hyping them up and cheering for them when they're in school and winning games. But as soon as high school's over, nobody, pays them any attention. They're not pushing them in the right direction. So this is why I started this business, because I saw my community and I saw people from that area just not going anywhere. So how was I able to help these people? Well, I asked a lot of questions. That's just me. I'm a learner. So I used to go to Barnes and Nobles like every single day to get a new book. I asked questions. I went to clinics, whether it's 2 hours away, 3 hours away, 4 hours, it didn't matter. I would still go to these clinics. And I met a guy named Bill McGregor, who was the head coach at DeMatha High School and also the NFL High School Coach of the Year that year. He was honored at the Super Bowl. And he had guys go D1 all the time. Not only go D1, he had guys go to the NFL. So like, Coach, how do you do it? What do I have to do to help, our guys? And he told me step by step what he did. And I just started doing what he told me to do. And then I started helping guys. And after I started helping guys, then people started asking me for more help. Thus, we got Recruit University. And not only am I helping people, in Maryland from where I'm from, but I help kids all over the United States. It just became a thing. So while we're doing this live video, if you know somebody that plays high school sports or going to play high school sports and they want to go to college, tag them in this video so where they get the information that they need. There's a lot of information out here, and I know people think that all you got to do is be talented and be good and they're going to find you. Well, that's not true. That's a big lie. That's our number one recruiting myth. So make sure you tag them in there, and I'm going to get started here in just a few seconds. All right. So I wrote a book called Recruiting 101, a guide to being recruited for college sports. Make sure you hit that share button and hit that like and love button. Give us some love. It's available on Amazon right now. And it's also available at recruituniversity.org/shop. Now, if you get it from recruituniversity.org/shop, it's less expensive, and I will sign it for you. So make sure you do that. First things first. You have to control what you can control. That's the only thing that you have to do right now as a student athlete. Control the things you can control. And what are the things that you can control? You can register with the NCAA Eligibility Center. That's first and foremost. You are a prospective student athlete day one of your freshman year. Okay, so as soon as you become a freshman, sign up for this. And what that's going to do for you, you're going to be able to see if your grade point average is in the right place. It can also upload your SAT and ACT scores, stuff like that, and the schools can actually access to make sure you qualify. So make sure you do that. This is mandatory, so don't put this off. The next thing is the NCAA requires a 2.3 unweighed GPA. All right. Now, don't make your minimums your maximum. Don't be like, oh, cool, I can just chill. 2.3, I can get in. That's the NCAA's minimum, but it's not the colleges. A lot of the colleges that we talk to, you got to have like a 3.0, somewhere around there. And sometimes that's not even good enough. You have to compete with other players or other students to get into certain schools. Some schools take the top 40%, top 60% of GPAs And you might not, I mean, that could be even higher than a 3.0. It could be a 3.5. It just depends on what everybody else's grades and test scores are. So don't make your minimums your maximums. And the reason why a lot of schools and a lot of programs like higher GPAs is because, and this is what the coach told me, he says that if a guy it falls off and his grades too low, then they still have time to help them get his grades back up before it reaches the NCAA's minimum. Because if it hits the NCAA's minimum, they're done. But if you are in that bubble, they have some tutors and stuff, and they can work with you a little bit. So make sure that you're not slacking off and you get your grades where they need to be. And the NCAA uses a 4.0 scale. Okay, so some schools I know use a 5.0, but a 4.0 scale, your A is worth 4 points, B is 3, C is 2, D is 1. And they take your grades, and then they average those grades. Core classes, okay, and this is going into the weighed and unweighed GPA, okay? The difference between weighed and unweighed is basically with your core classes and without your core classes. The NCAA in colleges, they only care about your core classes. They don't care about the other ones. So what are your core classes? Here's your core classes on the left right there. Take a look at that. You see your Englishes, your maths, sciences, and your histories and social studies, stuff like that. Those are your core classes. They're going to take those grades and those grades only, and they're going to take the average of those grades and get that GPA. So sometimes you might see your GPA and it looks higher. That's because you got classes like these on the right. Now you got good grades on those classes on the right, the non-core classes. And then you might think, oh, well, I got a 3.0, but really you might have a 2.5 if you just count the core classes and take out the non-core classes, because everybody better have an A in gym. If you don't have an A in gym, then I don't know what you're doing. So these classes over here are important, but they are not the classes that colleges are going to look at. What you want to do is you want to talk to your guidance counselor, talk to your high school, and then even on the eligibility center, you can get a list of approved core classes and make sure you're taking the right classes. That's why it's important that you're starting, before your freshman year, to make sure you're taking the classes that you need and not just fluff classes. Also, the SAT and the ACT. People ask me all the time, which one should I take? Well, it really doesn't matter which one you take. You just got to take one. And if you look at what's inside these test scores, you see the one on the left looks like Coke or Dr. Pepper. The one on the right, it looks like Pepsi. So the ACT one, the Pepsi one, you see they have science in it. So if you are good at science, take the ACT. The one on the left, the SAT, it doesn't have any science. So if you're not good at science, I would say take that one. But you can take these tests as many times as you need to, and they're going to take the highest score. So I would recommend, just getting ready and prepared and take take these tests. Don't wait, until your senior year to start taking this stuff seriously. You take them as early as you can and then see how you do. Now with the SAT, the average score is a 1040. So we're going to shoot for above average, right? You want to get like 1100 or 1200, something like that. Because you don't want to be average, because above average is going to get you to the right school and get you the financial aid that you need. The range for the test is a 400 to a 1600. That's the range. For the ACT, the average is a 20.8. Now, the range for that is a 1 to a 36. Again, you want to be above average, get yourself like a 21 or up. And again, you can take these tests as many times as you need to. And I would take them as soon as you're eligible to. Again, make sure you hit like, love, share. Check our website out, recruituniversity.org. Do what athletes do. Now, a lot of the guys that we work with are hungry, but there's always that rare exception where there's some entitled kids who think they can just show up and that's it. Everybody's going to throw you a scholarship just because you showed up today. Well, here's what a schedule looks like, a typical schedule for a college athlete. They're waking up at 5 a.m. They're getting breakfast, and then they go straight to strength and conditioning, lifting weights, running, all that, 6 a.m., 6 to 8. After that, they have a team meeting. After that, you take a shower, go to class. Take the classes, get some lunch, then you go watch film. After that, you get taped up and get ready for practice, then you practice. Then after that, you jump in the shower, get your treatment, then go to dinner. After dinner, you get a chance to work on your schoolwork. Then after that, you go to sleep. That's your daily schedule. You do this over and over and over again. This is your schedule. There's no time for fun. There's no time for Fortnite, right? I mean, I'm sure you can find time to do a little bit of fun stuff, but this is what your typical schedule looks like. And if you don't have that dog in you, if you're not willing to put forth that effort and grind, then this may not be for you, right? It's not for everybody, straight up. It's not for everybody. So make sure that you're doing what you need to do, right?
Also, the SAT meeting. After that, take a shower.
All right. So to do what athletes do, I'm gonna check this video out real quick. This is one of the things that separates the good from the great: sports performance training. Now, you need to be training in the off season. Don't just play your sport year round. That's the last thing you want to do. I see a lot of AAU guys. They play AAU all year. I see baseball players. They're playing baseball all year. They think that's going to get them better. So football players, they play fall and spring. Like, that's not going to get you better. What that's going to do is you're going to burn out. You might have overuse injuries. You're not going to do yourself any good. It doesn't make you better just by playing the game. What makes you better is training. So you have to take time to train. All right, so check this out. This is a soccer player at my friend Derek Blaylock's gym called Armed Sports in Humble, Texas. Now you can see here, he's training. He's not playing soccer. He's actually training for soccer. Okay, let's look at the next one. All right, so we're on a treadmill right here, working on speed. And if people say you can't teach speed, well, guess what? That's a lie. He's working on his form, got some resistance bands right there that he's connected to. Let's watch it again so you can see. You can train speed. You can get faster. I mean, if you check out these combines, these guys are training all the time to get their numbers down, to run a good 40 time. So you can train speed. So don't let people just say, oh, he's naturally fast. You can get out there and you can work your butt off and get to the next level. All right. And again, it doesn't matter what sport you play. You can train for it. This girl here is training for swimming. Again, training for swimming. It doesn't matter what sport you play. You can, you need to do what you need to do to get better and take care of yourself. If you're an athlete, a student athlete, you got to work twice as hard in the classroom and twice as hard in the gym. Again, if this is not for you, then just save your parents the time now. If you know you're not willing to put forth the effort, if you're lazy, then don't even come with that stuff. All right, just save your parents some money and the time. One thing that I like to tell people, one of the main things that I tell people is, like, think about the last movie you saw in the theaters, or think about a movie that's coming up in theaters. What makes you want to see that movie? Usually the previews, right? So you go to the movies because, oh, the preview looked dope. Now there's also the other way around. You might not go see it because the previews look whack. Either way, what you want to do is you got to make sure you give these coaches a preview to your movie. And how do you do that? You got to have a highlight tape. You got to have some kind of film, right? And I see this too many times where, whether it's basketball, football, track, golf, whatever it is, the parents are showcasing their kids at these games, but they're not recorded. So if your kid could have a great game, you could have the game of his life, and because you didn't record it, it never happened. The coach never saw it. Coaches are not going to come see your kid just because you go to these events, right? I know you're spending money because somebody says, oh, there's going to be colleges there. There's going to be scouts there. And they're not going to be there if they don't know who you are. You need to make sure you have a highlight tape and let them know that you're going to be there by having a good highlights. And you see guys all the time on these Instagrams and YouTube videos like Zion Williamson's. You find out about them because they have film. If they didn't have film, you might not have heard of them. So make sure you have some type of film. And when creating your highlight film, you got to make sure that you're easily identifiable. And what do I mean by that? Like, you need to make sure you want to take the beginning of the play to the end, not just the middle of it where you made the play. Because when I look at that, I don't know who you are. I need to know who you are and be able to follow you on the court or on the field, wherever it is. So make sure you're easily identifiable. Like, put a circle around you or arrow, something like that. A good program to use is Huddle, HUDL. A lot of college or high school coaches are using that. And if your high school coach isn't using that, you need to call them and make sure they get it. It's not that expensive. It's a great program if you want to, get your kids film straight to the computer and straight online. Like I said, spotlight yourself at the beginning of the play as soon as you come into the picture. Also, every play that you make does not belong in your highlights. Okay, it literally has to be a highlight for it to be on your highlights. It's got to be your best plays. I had one kid send me some film, and I don't know why he sent it to me. I mean, they punted the ball, nobody did anything, but it just was rolling on the field, and then he ran down and touched it, and he sent that to me. Why do I need to see that? I don't need to see that. Don't put plays on the tape that make you look bad either. Like, I know you want to show off your speed. Like, I had one guy I had multiple guys do this, but they show where they get beat on a play, but then they chase a guy down. Like, first of all, you weren't supposed to get beat, so you already made yourself look bad. I see you caught up with him, but you should never got by you, right? That's something that you don't want to add on there. Like, you want to make yourself look good. They're going to see, if they like what they see, they're going to ask for more film. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to create a preview to the movie and then have the coaches come to your movie. Okay, so show them just enough so that way they can ask for more. They're going to. They're not going to base a scholarship off the highlights. They're going to want to see more. They're going to want to see a full game. They want to see you in person. Okay, but we got to get them there first. And the coaches mostly, they know whether in the first 30 seconds or a minute, whether they're going to keep watching it or they're going to go to somebody else. All right. Brand management. Okay, you are a brand. Okay, you are your brand. Here's the definition for the word brand. A word, name, symbol used to identify its products distinctly from others of the same type and usually displayed on its products and advertising. A product line of products or service bearing widely known brand name. Like I said, you have a service. You offer, whether you're a baseball player, basketball player, volleyball, softball, football, it doesn't matter what sport you play. You are offering a service to these schools that they're paying a lot of money for, and they need to know what they're getting. Okay? They need to know what they're getting. They want to test drive the car before they buy it, right? So your skills are your service. So you need to market those skills to these coaches. And you can do that a lot with tape. You can do that by showing up at camp and just constantly working out and improving yourself over and over again. And it's not that you're not talented enough, okay? And that's my number one myth. It's not about talent. They just don't know who you are. So here's how you let them know who you are. You can use email. You can send your film through there. Also, go to Twitter. Twitter is huge for recruiting. Twitter is so huge for recruiting. You need to make sure you're doing that. You can also use a third party like Recruit University. And the reason I recommend Recruit University or a third party is because the NCAA's rules. They're very strict rules, right? So certain times of the year, they're not allowed to call you. They're not allowed to email you back, right? If you're a parent or a student. Now, if you're a senior, they can contact you during the contact period. But if you're not, they're not allowed to contact you. They can contact the coach or a third party, right? So I'll send out film and they can reply to the film, or I can call them and leave a message. They'll call me back, but they cannot call the parent or the student athlete back. So it's really big to have that third party help you out. Okay, like I said, it could be a recruiting service like mine, recruituniversity.org, or you could use your coach or somebody like that if they have time to work with you. But it's very huge. It's a very huge advantage to having someone work for you. So I'll talk a little bit about the recruiting calendar. Here's some things with the recruiting calendar that you need to know. The contact period. Okay, and you can find recruiting calendar for your sport, for the division that you want to be in. Each division has different dates. So whether you want to go D1, D2, D3, there's different calendars for that, whether it's baseball, football, softball, whatever sport. Okay, so contact period. That means the coaches can make in-person, off-campus visits. They can come to your school. They can come to your house. They can talk to you, right? The quiet period. That means you can come onto campus only. Coaches can't talk to you outside of when you come to visit on campus. The evaluation period. Now, this is a big one. That means they're allowed to come to events. So if you see all these different combines and showcases and what have you that they say you got to go to because scouts are going to be there. It's going to be all of these scouts going to be there to watch. You got to go to this. They most of the time they're lying. Okay, just check the recruiting calendar. If it's not an evaluation period, they're not going to be there. They're not allowed to. Okay, they can get into a lot of trouble for breaking these rules. The coaches can. So pay attention to this. Okay. And then also when they come to these events and there's an evaluation period, they can come to your games, whatever it is, they still can't talk to you because it's not a contact period. They can talk to the coach, but they may not talk to you. So don't get discouraged if coaches are there at the game, but they don't speak to you. Because I've seen people get upset about that. The coach was there, but they probably weren't interested because they didn't talk to him. Well, because they're not allowed to. If they came to the game, they're interested. Okay, that's all you need to know. Lastly, the dead period. That means they cannot contact you at all. There's no contact. So a lot of times during a dead period, a lot of coaches go on vacation, right? Because there's nothing they can do. It's a dead period. They can't call you. You can't come visit. Usually around the holidays and stuff, there's a lot of dead periods there. Okay, so make sure you get one of those. You can go to the NCAA website, get a recruiting calendar, or Google it, and make sure you download it and print it out and have it so that way you know exactly what's going on. All right, here's some of our success stories right here. So we've helped some kids go D1 in football. On the top left there, those were my first two guys there, signing their letters of intent. Again, make sure you hit that share button for us. We helped some guys go D3 from New York there. There's a kid from Alabama signing his letter. We had one kid over here from Maryland. He went and he really got a really high SAT score working with us. He actually moved it up 300 points and got a great financial aid. He went to a D2 school there. Another picture is a kid from Florida. He played for a nationally ranked football team, and they won a state championship. He went to a D2 school. Then we have a kid that went to a D2 school, which is going to be a D1 next year. And here's a son of a former NFL running back there, working with a kid here on the left also from Maryland, 4.0 GPA. And then on the right, all D1 guys, one from Louisiana. He actually went to a JUCO first. He got an offer from a D1 school to walk on, but the JUCO was more affordable. So he's going to do that and then get recruited again to get a scholarship, which I highly recommend. Another state championship athlete here on the left from Virginia, basketball player from Texas, another Maryland football player. Listen, guys, we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. I highly recommend if you are interested or you know somebody that's interested in playing at the next level, you contact us. You can go to our website, recruituniversity.org. Fill out the form for an evaluation or in a consultation. They'll give you a call and tell you exactly what we do, how we do it. Also, this is a very exclusive program. We don't work with anyone. We need to work with the guys that are hungry, right? If you're not hungry, we will not work with you. So you have to be hungry. You have to be willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to put in the effort for us to work with you. We also have mentoring that we do. Every Sunday we have conference calls via web conference, and we work with these guys. We'll have motivational speakers on, former players, coaches, what have you. We do videos sometimes, and we just talk about not just the transition to college, but you're talking about getting successful in college and then successful in life, right? So we are definitely pushing that. We're definitely pushing the mentorship. But again, it's not for everybody. We do, check your social media, right? If your social media is garbage and you got stuff on there, we're not going to work with you. Like fights or a lot of cursing and drugs or guns or anything stupid like that. I mean, we've had that before. I saw guys like gang members or throwing up gang signs or whatever, and we won't work with you. Again, you're a brand. You are what you post, right? You are promoting you. So you're doing stupid stuff like that, you're not going to get recruited. Plain and simple. You might say, well, I'm being myself. Well, guess what? Your stuff is going to be sitting right at home. You can find us on Twitter at Coach Kuartez, Instagram at Recruit University, and then right here on Facebook. So again, make sure you share this information. This is some information that they don't share a lot in schools, and you might disagree or whatever, but a lot of schools that have a lot of success getting guys to college and girls, they have what's called a recruiting coordinator, right? And that's their job. It's all they do is help promote guys and girls to different colleges. That's their job, right? And if your school does not have a recruiting coordinator, then they're not there helping you. It's not up to the coach to help you and get you recruited. The coach is a teacher and a father and a mother, and they don't have time to work with everybody, right? It's not in their contract where they have to help you get recruited. I mean, you got to know a little bit and do a little bit on your own, you know, so it's up to you, the parents and the students, to get recruited. You know, it's a ton of information out there that I did not go over, but, you know, I wish I had enough time to do it, but just make sure you get the book, you know, make sure you get the book and educate yourself a little bit on this process. You know, reach out to us, give us a call if you have any questions, go to our website, inbox us, all the different ways we can be connected. And, you know, I wish you all the best getting there. You know, if you start early in the process, then your chances are higher than if you start your senior year. And I really, really push that you need to get started early, because a lot of times we get guys going into 12th grade that were screwed around in 9th and 10th grade, had terrible grades, never even took the test because they didn't know. They had no idea what they're supposed to be doing. They just once it started getting real, then they started asking for help, and then wanted us to work miracles for them. You know, we did work some. We worked a few miracles, but if you're prepared, then you have better success. You know, there's a saying, failure to prepare is preparing to fail. So make sure you're prepared. Don't wait. You know, if you got kids in 7th or 8th grade, start talking to them now about it, like exactly what they need to do, because college is expensive, very expensive. I was talking to a coach yesterday, and he was talking about the tuition is $25,000 a year at his school. So if you don't have $100,000 saved up, then I highly recommend you get this book for, you know, for like $20, and then save yourself some money, save yourself a chunk of change. All right. All right. I'm Coach Kuartez. Again, make sure you inbox us or email us if you have any questions at all. Thanks for getting on here. And if you're catching the replay, make sure you share it out. Let us know you were here. Show us some love. Just say hi or something in the comments. Let me know you were here. Let me get that information from you so we know that what we're doing is effective. And I'll see you guys soon.